Hi friends, welcome to the sales algorithm. I'm Rangan Jayakrishnan. As you're all aware, I'm running this podcast series covering journeys of successful founders and entrepreneurs. And today's is the fifth episode. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest, Sunil Jalihal, founder and CEO of Indic Creations. Welcome, Sunil, to this podcast.
Thank you very much, Rangan, for having me on your show. The work that you're doing to bring out stories of entrepreneurial journeys and the inspirations, I think, is going to play a big role in having a lot more happen in the country.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
That's the whole idea, Sunil. So yeah. So just for the audience, I want to introduce you, Sunil. So Sunil is a seasoned technocrat and a serial entrepreneur whose career spans public, private, and social sectors, with experience at industry leaders like CMC, Wipro, Siemens, and Hewlett Packard. Sunil went on to co-found several pioneering startups, including eCapital Solutions, eVector, and Mobi Media, attracting investments from major venture funds like JP Morgan, Chase, Intel Capital. He's led teams at the forefront of innovation in mobile software with groundbreaking work in mobile ticketing, M-Wallet, and M-Health technologies. In addition to his entrepreneurial pursuits, Sunil has made significant contributions to social initiatives and cultural projects. He authored Romancing the Chilli, a coffee table heritage book that won three awards at the World Gourmand Awards in Paris. And Sunil pioneered the concept of military tourism in India, creating the acclaimed Veer Yatra program in collaboration with the Maharashtra government. He has served as visiting faculty at Symbiosis International University, sharing his experiences in entrepreneurship and technology. He has advised Yulu Bikes, playing a key role in expanding their smart mobility solutions across India's urban landscape. Sunil is also the founder trustee of Heart for Art, a charitable trust committed to revitalizing traditional Indian arts and crafts and empowering artisans across the country. As the founder and CEO of Indic Inspirations, he is on a mission to reimagine how India's culture and heritage are celebrated worldwide, crafting distinctive souvenirs that capture the spirit of India's artistic legacy. So, Sunil, welcome to the Sales Algorithm channel. And as we begin, I would love to hear about the roots of your entrepreneurial journey. Could you tell us about your early background and a little bit on your pivotal moments that shaped your outlook, and what really inspired you to take the leap from your previous career path into launching your first startup, and how did that inspiration guide your journey?
So, Rangan, I've grown up in Pune. We are a family that comes from the northern part of Karnataka,
Mm-hmm.
in the Hubli, Dharwad, Badami area. But my father came to Maharashtra, specifically Mumbai and Pune, in the 50s and 60s. So basically, before I was born, so I've grown up in Pune,
Mm-hmm.
and studied in Pune, and then worked in a number of places. So in Pune, I studied at Loyola High School,
Mm-hmm.
which in itself was maybe the grounding of some of the work that I did later, because we used to hear these stories of Father Shock,
Mm-hmm.
Swiss priest,
Mm-hmm.
who convinced the National Chemical Laboratory to part with land, cut up a hill, with the help of National Defense Academy, and started a school.
Uh-huh.
And created a beautiful campus,
Yeah.
and education with a focus on sports and academics.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess some of the inspiration came from how that institution was built. Um, After that, I studied in Ferguson College
Mm-hmm.
in my 11th and 12th,
Mm-hmm.
and then went and studied at another startup institution
Uh-huh.
called the Pune Institute of Computer Technology.
Right.
In the second, as part of the second batch,
Mm.
it was literally a startup college at that time,
Mm.
leapfrogging all the syllabi that was available in various engineering
Absolutely.
colleges.
I cannot agree more because I have friends almost in that batch. Probably I can share some names you might
Oh,
know.
wonderful, wonderful, yeah. So that's how we got to learn about computer architecture, compilers, operating systems, and CAD, CAM, computer graphics, and even AI at that time.
Hmm.
So, and seeing the institution being built was also something that probably shaped what I did later.
This was early 90s or even before?
So I finished my engineering in 1988.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So that's the time.
and so that was how I grew up in Pune,
Hmm.
in a typical middle class background,
Hmm.
where the focus is on studies, but my parents also allowed us to do a lot of things, indulge in sports, or not telling us what to do.
Not
Uh,
the conventional types of those times, you know.
Correct, correct, correct.
Yeah.
So that was something that also helped. My father was in sales,
Oh,
and uh, which itself was quite unusual
those
for
days.
for those times, and I guess that also would have helped taking risks later, which I did.
Correct.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Correct, correct. Inspiring, very inspiring. So, uh, I would like to hear the story behind your first startup. You mentioned that earlier in our discussions that a data company focused on delivering data to non-smart mobile phones because smart mobile phones were not really existing then. So what was the inspiration on that?
So after my engineering, my first 3 years were with CMC in Mumbai. CMC was one of those star companies at
Correct.
that time,
Yeah.
and did a lot of good R&D work, and I was a part of the communication group, and got exposed to a lot of telecom related R&D
This
that
was a
was happening.
government-run company, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So
It's a
you
public
would
sector. It's
correct.
now part of TCS,
Yeah.
and so my early exposure to developing new products
Mm-hmm.
was at CMC.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved to Bangalore, moved to Wipro, which was like 100 people company at that time.
Wow.
Wipro Systems.
This again early 90s, I believe.
Yes, the early
Mm-hmm.
90s, 1991 or so, where I got to again see Wipro being built.
Oh.
So that was also a very very rich education
Mm-hmm.
to how to convince customers around the world, especially in telecom, which was pretty high tech at that time.
Yes.
Convincing a Bell Northern Research,
Yeah.
or convincing even DRDO at that time. So I got to work on the avionics software of the Tejas aircraft,
Wow. Fantastic.
and did some projects for Bell Northern Research in Canada and in the UK. Um, so then, therefore, got to work for Wipro, which was a private sector company. As a lot of us earlier, and maybe even today, we want to work in a multinational.
Right.
So then I worked with Siemens for a while, and it was very different, I would say, from Wipro, not as entrepreneurial and so on. So I very quickly moved on to the Hewlett Packard
Okay.
in Bangalore, where I got exposed to some very wonderful technologies again in telecom. I was involved in delivering solutions to Ericsson in Sweden,
Hmm.
Telstra in Australia, Time Warner Cable, and um, Pacific Bell and such
And those
companies
were
in
the
the
times
US.
when telecom was really in a boom, right? I mean, all
Absolutely,
these names that you're saying,
absolutely,
Bell and all that, they were really the
absolutely.
leaders,
Yeah.
top leaders
So
in the market.
telecom was like what AI is today,
Absolutely.
where networks were being built, both voice and data networks, and therefore getting opportunities to work with some of these customers. For example, in about 1996, I was involved in delivering a high-tech fiber-based broadband delivery system,
Wow.
and cable modems and so on. So all of this exposure uh, told me two things. It gave me a lot of experience and exposure, and therefore confidence to be able to create solutions, talk to people around the world, and deliver value.
Hmm.
Um, and the second thing it told me was all these years I've been doing projects around the world, but
Hmm.
had not done anything in India.
Okay.
And things were happening in both telecom and banking at that time. The new mobile operators had just started operations. The new banks like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank were coming
So,
up.
so you were still placed in India and working for customers abroad, or were you kind of
Yeah, so I did like most IT people do, mostly based in Bangalore,
right?
and before that in Mumbai. But spent stints of about a year or
Okay.
so
Okay.
in the US, in California, in Canada, and in
Hmm.
the UK. Mainly based in Bangalore,
Based in Bangalore.
which was also very interesting because that's where the concept of startups out of India
Absolutely.
started. Many of my neighbors were entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So all of this exposure um, um, had me approach Suresh Rajpal,
Hmm.
who was the CEO of HP in India, and a very respected figure, very inspirational figure. I didn't know him, but I approached him because I heard that he was going to do a startup.
Okay.
So I approached him, we talked, and I became a part of his founding team, taking care of telecom solutions.
Hmm.
We started E-Capital Solutions, funded by JP Morgan Chase and CIBC Oppenheimer Fund, where actually they approached Suresh
Oh, is it?
to
Okay.
with
So
money
the
and
other way around. Okay.
saying, why don't you start something,
Right.
that kind of a thing.
Right.
And I took charge of the telecom part of the business.
Hmm.
So eCapital Solutions was focused on telecom and financial services, and I was in charge of the telecom solutions. We quickly put together software services packages,
So you
hired a
were
team.
building the solutions and services with your team. Is what?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Hmm.
So we chose a few areas in telecom where we could deliver solutions, and one of the upcoming ones was in the mobile data space.
Okay.
So we created some services packages around it,
Hmm.
which quickly evolved into a product idea.
Absolutely.
And I'd done some work earlier with Helsinki Telephone and Nokia, and some of the cutting edge work in mobile data services at that time,
Hmm.
even ahead of the US,
Hmm.
was happening in Finland.
Wow.
So I was exposed to it, and that gave us an idea to start building out a product.
Hmm.
And how do you build out a product in a software services company? So
That's
we
game changing, actually.
absolutely, so we literally bit the bullet to um, to start working on a product in the telecom space while we were delivering services.
Okay.
So what we thought was all software services have a bench.
Hmm.
Typically 15 to 20% of the
Right.
workforce is a bench that's preparing for new projects
Right.
that are expected. we decided to flip the bench.
Mhm.
Normally, you put interns on the bench. We
Mhm.
thought we'll put our best people on the bench. And we had
Okay.
hired some really good people
Interesting.
from the IITs and various other institutions. And we decided that our best people will be on the bench,
Okay.
building out products and also helping with the software services
Okay.
business.
So they had the dual role.
Dual role.
One is delivering, the other thing is trying to ideate on how to productize that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So that's how we
That's a
built
brilliant-
out a
brilliant thing.
mobile value-added services platform, which was a platform that enabled data on coming from various applications and software systems onto mobile devices. Or we did some experimentation where we could kind of talk to applications.
Mm.
You know, the text to speech and speech to text that had just started happening and so
Okay.
on. And we built out a prototype of the product. Intel got interested in this product. They asked
So
us.
tell me, sorry to interrupt you. Tell me how would that outreach be? Meaning, in the sense, how did Intel come to know about this product?
Right. So one is I had some friends from school in Intel, so I knew what they were doing and what kind of Intel Capital was doing, and Intel and HP were doing some work, joint work to develop the Itanium chip
Okay.
in California.
Mhm.
So in fact, the first thing Intel said, why don't you port this platform onto the Itanium chip?
Mhm.
And Intel wanted a presence in servers or software applications that can go to telecom operators. They were more known as a desktop company.
Right.
So they found this an interesting
Space to be.
application to support. So we quickly ported it, and they gave us the idea: why don't you spin this off into a separate company and we'll fund it?
Okay.
So we were going to raise money again in a very short time. Meanwhile, we got acquired by a company listed on the software on the Bombay Stock Exchange called Leading Edge Systems. And
So all along, this was an Indian company, fully an Indian company.
it was a company that was registered in the Cayman Islands, which was kind of the norm at that time. But we had a presence in UK, the US, and Singapore from a sales perspective. But our development centers
completely was
were
in
in
India.
Bangalore and inside IIT Delhi, which
Oh.
was again one of those.
So these were the bench guys, was it? Or
So we actually convinced IIT Delhi to let us start up. We are part of their campus. A few other companies also came into that building later on.
that might have been very early days for startups and startup culture. Even IITs knowing about startups or something. It was
Absolutely,
very early days.
absolutely the early days. In fact, I don't know when we started calling it startups.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All my friends I talked to who were like being entrepreneurs, they said that time it was not a startup. We just started something.
Absolutely.
Today it is named as startup.
Absolutely. However, almost at the same time, I'm talking about the 99,
99.
2000 period, there was some activity happening in Bangalore, Delhi, especially around startups. We had the first venture funds or seed funds which had started coming up. Jump Startup was created by Sanjay Anandram, whom I've later worked with as a part of the network of Indian cultural entrepreneurs. So he had started Jump Startup, and a bunch of my neighbors in Palm Meadows and Bangalore were entrepreneurs
Okay.
who did their first startups. So that's how we our first startup very quickly got acquired as well as.
And sorry, one more question. What was the role of IIT Delhi apart from giving you this?
It was just the early days when they started talking to industry in a
Okay.
sense. And
Okay.
Suresh Rajpal, with his reputation and with his charm, could convince them to allow us to
It would
operate
have
out
been a
of their
win-win
campus.
for you guys. It would have been like being inside IIT one thing, and for IITs having something like HP or some other company, kind of a offshoot of HP, if you can say,
Absolutely,
to
absolutely,
come
and
into their campus would have been
absolutely,
really
and we had a bunch of students from IIT Delhi who would intern with us, for example, and therefore, absolutely the beginnings of an academic institution is starting to work with startups.
right. And you were saying that that is a time when the venture capitalists started forming and the venture fund. So they also showed interest in this, or
Like I said, Suresh Rajwal was first invited by JP Morgan Chase to kind of start a startup,
Mhm.
and that's how we formed a team, and I was part of the founding team. And Venture capital had started happening, and um, people were just beginning to learn, all the terms, and the way of working of startups as well as venture funds. So that beginning created a lot of future ventures.
absolutely. I think you had the right technology to start with. Then you also, kind of had the right partners, if I can say that. And this kind of caught the interest of local venture capitalists, and that's when the whole thing started in a
Absolutely.
way. And you were like in the very early days of the startup ecosystem in India, if I can say that, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, and uh, so it, uh, so this experience essentially, gave everybody the confidence, the process to convert ideas into ventures,
Yes,
and uh, helped everybody understand the importance of being like the American ecosystem where everybody sells.
correct.
Yeah, everybody who creates something also sells.
Kind of a capitalistic
Absolutely,
ecosystem.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, if you compare those days, just to reflect, compare those days with what we have today. Today, it's like I always say, is the best time to start anything. You have mentorship, you have capital, you just have an idea and you get everything, even infrastructure, for example. And with more and more AI, you pretty much can run a one-man or two-man company very easily. So when you compare this setup for today's generation to what you had at your times, maybe your challenges are far more than what this generation has, right? So,
um, I think at its very base, the ecosystem, in a sense, might have started about 10 years before that, when IT companies,
before your starting time,
yeah, yeah,
okay. So then
kind
there
of
was
started getting formed,
there was already a
whether
kind of
a
a
Wipro or a HCL or a
got it,
Infosys,
got it.
or what Anand Deshpande did right here in Pune. So some of it had started happening.
Right.
Some set of mentors, if you will,
Yeah.
or some set of people that you could look up to
Mm-hmm.
had got created,
Okay.
and then it just got accelerated,
Okay.
after
Okay.
around 2000.
Okay. And if I ever to ask you during this very first startup, what were the low points or what were the real challenges that came your way in the initial days? Can you dwell a little on that?
So, most of us do grow up, where you're encouraged to take up a safe job,
Absolutely.
and
Especially those days.
absolutely. So, the leap to be a part of a startup comes when you have some confidence, and I would say even pride to
Absolutely.
start something
Absolutely.
new and do something out of India. It comes if there is some encouragement or at least not discouragement from home.
No, I mean, you have a great father who was already in sales and who was like encouraging you to start something on your own, and that was a great beginning, I must say. Great head
Absolutely,
start.
absolutely,
Great head start.
absolutely. I remember calling my dad, when we were going through some downs and, we were contemplating kind of shutting down a venture and all that. I called him and all he asked me was, do you know what you want to do after
After
this?
this.
I said, yeah, I kind of have an idea. He says, then that's fine. So, and then of course, my wife Padmaja, who kind of understood and supported all the crazy things that I was doing. Our kids were born. In fact, my elder daughter was born about 10 days before my first startup.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
So, a lot of that, has been a big help, and then the rest of the ecosystem is just there. I mean,
Absolutely,
it's in
absolutely,
fact it's been thriving now,
absolutely.
and so it's really your own confidence,
Sure.
and some kind of a support from your near
And
and
wanting
dear
to, the
ones
urge
that
to do
helps.
something different, the urge to do
Absolutely,
something different, the urge to do something from India for India, kind of that would have really, been the passion or the fire for you to start something.
absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic. And you said that a company came and offered to purchase it. So that was also something that you didn't go after. It came.
Actually, it's interesting as to how the venture capital world works. We had no clue at that time. It was actually common investors that we had.
Okay.
The company listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange and our investors, JP Morgan Chase. So it was like a reverse merger that was done, which
Hmm.
was actually considered very smart at that time.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
it was an investor having two investments and in a similar space, and kind of a reverse merger that helped create value actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we barely understood what a lot of this meant, but it kind of also started a trend. Later on,
Mm.
it was done by a few other entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
This kind of
Hmm.
a reverse merger
Hmm.
type of scaling up.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Absolutely. So, with that takeover, you kind of moved out of it, or you still.
Yeah, then it becomes a kind of a combined entity
Right,
and so on.
right.
So that's also the time when we were growing the E-Vector, which was the new
Hmm.
company that was funded by Intel Capital
Hmm.
and JP Morgan Chase, that had built a mobile value added services platform. So we worked on that and
Hmm.
took it to a few carriers in North America, Southeast Asia, and here in India. And then kind of moved on. I decided to, in fact, take a little bit of a sabbatical, move
Hmm.
back to Pune.
Hmm.
I had grown up in Pune, but I'd never worked in Pune.
Right.
And there, that's when I took a sabbatical, worked on a few other areas, like helping waste pickers to working with organic farmers or investing in a organic food brand and so
Hmm.
on.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the journey of the first
Okay, so this was
startup
this
that we
was the
did.
this was the interim period before you went to the second startup.
Absolutely,
Okay, great.
absolutely, absolutely.
So now with the second startup, I understand you kind of launched it at a time when the market might not have been very ready for that idea. And can you share more on that experience? And do you feel timing played a role in the challenges that you had? And what did you learn from that journey?
So after the sabbatical and smartphones beginning to happen, we had
Hmm.
seen some elements of smartphones happen in Europe through Nokia and the Symbian platform. We had worked on those technologies as well.
This
Um,
was early 2000s or
so this was kind of up to about 2005
okay.
or so. And then smartphones started happening, especially with the iPhone, where the mobile device became a computer,
Yeah.
very powerful,
Correct.
and then the touch screen and all of
Kind
that.
of ubiquitous computing with the
Absolutely,
mobile.
right? So when that was beginning to happen, I had this idea that it's a leap for mobile value-added services or mobile
Absolutely.
data.
Absolutely.
Earlier, we were doing it with a like what was called a WAP phone or through SMS messaging
Yeah.
and those kinds of um, technologies. The smartphone we thought is going to leapfrog a lot of the mobile data
And rightly
services.
so. I mean, that was,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And therefore, I got together along with Rajiv Mathur, with whom I had done the first startup as well. And we put together Mobi Media, focused on two products. And, like the hedging that we always do, did software services as well
Yeah. Yeah.
in the mobile data services space. So we built a mobile wallet
Mm-hmm.
starting from about 2009, yeah,
Mhm.
2009, 10, and so on. And we also built another product called Fake Buster.
So
Which,
this is a time when the others were not around, or like the Paytms.
yeah, so in fact, Paytm or 197 Communication used to be our customer for an app that we developed for them. They used to do some work with matrix cards and for roaming and so on. So there were a couple of companies that were working on some kind of mobile wallet type of ideas. And so we decided to build a wallet which literally mimicked a real life wallet,
Correct.
which carries money, credit cards, and we thought it should also carry coupons,
Mm-hmm.
which could be distributed electronically
Sure.
much more efficiently than, let's say, paper coupons and so on. So that's how we built out this wallet, and we built out another product which could be used to kind of track and trace products, especially high value consumer goods, from the factory to a retail store. And when you buy it, you want to be sure that it's a real scotch that you're buying, for example, right?
Okay.
So we built out something around that. Um, was it too early? Was it not, the right time, or did we not do it well? We ponder about it even now.
Mm.
Um, um, but absolutely, when we started, there were a couple of lakhs of smartphones in India.
Right.
Yeah, it was just starting.
Correct.
So when we would take this solution, we would say, hey, how many mobile phones are there or smartphones
Yeah.
are there in the country? So that was one. We were also trying to solve a problem, what we call a two-sided problem, right?
Mhm.
So we're trying to build a consumer base, and we're trying to talk to corporates to give their coupons or give their services, which we could then bridge,
Right.
right? So
Right.
both were not available.
Oh.
Right, so we are trying to solve a double-sided type of problem,
Correct.
and things like UPI, Aadhaar, and all of that. Those have not happened.
Not happened.
Therefore, the bridging technology and the bridging platform was not there.
Mm.
So we worked on this wallet until about 2014.
Okay.
And it actually happened with demonetization in 2017.
Mm.
Yeah, so in a way, maybe we gave up too early. But also, what was happening was um, ventures were moving towards kind of the D2C space.
Correct.
From services.
Correct. Correct.
We were almost offering a coupon and wallet service, whereas the world was moving towards kind of building out consumer platforms.
Consumer platforms.
Yeah.
Correct. So you kind of thought. So what happened? You gave up or what?
No, okay. So yeah, you can say we gave up with whatever we had tried, and it didn't work and so on. Also, I had worked on a number of social projects.
Yeah.
Even while I was doing my tech startups.
Mhm.
So I always had an interest in doing something which would be impactful
Correct.
in terms of job creation, in terms of building out new products, building out new services, and so on.
So you pivoted to that at that point.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we decided to do. That's how we set up Heart for Art as a charitable trust. Because before that, I'd done some work restoring a lake in Bangalore.
Okay.
Close to the Palm Meadows community where we stayed. It was kind of on the outskirts of Bangalore at that time in the Whitefield area. And it took me about 2.5 years to convince various departments of the Karnataka government, the Lake Development Authority, the law secretary, the environment secretary, and even our own community to fund it. Um, uh, and we created a framework for residents associations to adopt nearby lakes
Okay.
and maintain them and so on.
So
It
you
became
would
a
pump the,
standard later.
so you would pump the money and do everything
Absolutely.
to
So we collected the money, came up with a detailed project report as to what we would do and what the government would do and what we would do as a
correct.
residents association.
Correct. So kind of a
So
private public partnership
absolutely,
kind of a
absolutely.
thing.
So
Okay.
so that was one thing that I did, and then um, the work that I did with the organic farmers and so on also exposed me to a little bit of kind of, let's say, high end agriculture, right?
Okay.
So that kind of helped create another project that I worked on, which is authoring the book called Romancing the Chili.
Okay.
This actually started when I was visiting my sister in the US. And since we come from North Karnataka, there is a little bit of a chili heritage there,
Okay.
and there are stories around chilies that we would hear when we grew up.
So
Uh,
you used to have spicy food or
uh, by my father's side, definitely.
okay.
We used to hear these stories where my father would come back from college, and you normally ask your mom, "What's the sabji today?" Or he would ask, "What's the chutney today?" Yeah, so we would hear these stories. So we decided to do a book, a coffee table book, also to narrate stories of our heritage
Mm.
around agriculture and around the chili. First, we thought, okay, chili might be a small topic, but as we researched it, we found that it was huge
Wow.
because the chili spread around the world in about 50 years,
Uh-huh.
which is probably the fastest
Very
that
small time
any
window.
agricultural commodity has spread around the world. It spread a lot with the Portuguese,
Mm.
and they brought it from South America to many of the colonies that they set up. They got it into India via Goa, and then very quickly the Vijayanagar Empire area, which was doing things with the Portuguese, adopted it, and then it spread very quickly. Um, uh, and If you see a lot of the terms for chili in Indian languages, especially South Indian languages or even Marathi, mirchi comes from miri, which is pepper.
Okay. Okay.
Mensinkai comes from medusu, which is pepper in Kannada.
Okay.
And similarly in
Milagai.
Tamil and
Milagai.
absolutely. So it was called the pepper fruit. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
how it.
So same in Tamil we call pepper as milagu and mirchi as milagai. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
there is a
So
kind of a
it
root from that.
literally was called the pepper fruit,
Okay.
in some sense.
Okay.
So that's how we put this book together. The kind of historical journey of the chili around the world, the farm to plate journey, the effect of chili on the human body and world
Wow.
culture and so
So
on.
all that, huh?
Yeah,
Completely. So I'm
and
sure.
about 45 different chutney recipes.
Also in that book.
around the world.
Fantastic. I want to read that
and
book.
India,
And
so on. Yeah.
you mentioned that you got an award, 4 awards for that.
Absolutely.
So
So
that's good.
again, we had no clue that these awards even exist. We had no clue how to write a book. Um, but then we, got a book designer. We got a photographer who helped us put the book together. It was published by Rupa Publications. And then one day we just got a call saying, you've been shortlisted for this award in Paris, the World Gourmand Awards, which is run by the Remy Martin family.
Mhm.
So yes, that's how we won some awards there.
Fantastic.
So some of these were happening. So wanted to do
Right.
some kind of more socially relevant type of
That was
venture.
your calling also from the
Absolutely,
beginning.
absolutely, yeah.
Did it ever cross your mind that if in the 2017s during the time when the other payment companies like Paytm were really getting up there, did it ever cross your mind like should we go back to
To
the
try it again?
to try it again?
Right. So by then, by then my wife Padmaja and I, we had started Heart for Art Trust to help artisans. We always liked the arts and crafts. Even in school, I used to kind of like it, and then in our travels around the world, we would pick up a lot of craft and paintings and so on.
So your connect with the artisans was from that time.
So from Heart for Art Trust
Heart for
onwards,
Art.
that is from
So
2014.
there the goal was to get the artisans' products to the market, something like that.
Absolutely. So we just wanted to help them get a market. We first thought we'll help them with design imports, we'll help them with maybe their kids' education or nutrition related imports or things like that, like a typical NGO, we were to kind of help them. But what we heard from them, Rangan, was, हमको धंधा दिलाओ, right? So we thought, okay, that's what we need to help them with.
Plain words.
So we set up a online store on their behalf, kind of listed their products, did a lot of workshops to have artisans get exposed to consumers
Kind of
and vice
outreach.
versa.
For outreach.
Yeah,
better
and
outreach.
so that's how we got interested in
Right.
the arts and crafts and to create some kind of a venture around it.
Right. Great. So, I mean, brilliant. Thanks for sharing your insights on the stories of your early startups. You had great successes, also followed by challenges and failures. And in spite of that, you bounce back in a resilient way. So, now shifting our conversation to your latest venture, Indic Creations. I can connect the dots now. You already had this heart for art, and so could you share how the idea first took shape of Indic Creations and what was the inspiration behind the company, and were there any key individuals or experiences that played a significant role in shaping this journey?
Right. So from say 2014 to the end of 2019, we learned through our Art for Art Trust as to what are the opportunities, what are the challenges, and what are the kinds of arts and crafts that India had. What occurred to us was the same old products were being made by India's artisans.
Right.
India has more than 3,000 crafts. About 60% of the world's artisans are in India, but we had 2% share of the handicrafts market. And millions of stories. We've been a storytelling civilization.
Yeah.
And we thought it was time to create new products that narrated the many stories that our civilization and our country had. So that's how we decided to put Indic Inspirations together. One, as a company that will create new products with arts and crafts, and through artisanal engineering, again a term that we kind of came up with after we saw how we could map some of the technologies around space into craft-based products.
Wow.
Yeah, so we decided to kind of focus on stories of India. So we took Shunya as a story,
Mhm.
India's gift to the world. A lot of foreigners kind of tell us, "Oh, you guys gave us zero," and then we have this sheepish grin, or sometimes we even deny that we even gave it to the world. So we thought we need to narrate story of Shunya. We did that through 810 products.
Mhm.
Shunya shaped LED copper lamp,
Mhm.
or a tea light in the shape of zero, and Shunya shot glasses. Shunya came from the Shunyata philosophy,
Mhm.
and emptiness and so on. So dissolve into the void. Yeah, with the
Fantastic.
shot glasses, and even connecting the zero meridian, Ujjain, through a desktop model,
Mhm.
showing the Tropic of Cancer and Ujjain and so on. So this was one story that we picked. We picked many others.
Mhm.
The Lota, explaining the
Yeah.
Lota, which was celebrated actually first by Charles Eames.
You mentioned about the book that he had written on the Lota.
Absolutely, where
Very
he
inspiring.
and his wife came to help set up NID Ahmedabad, and wrote a book on the Lota, calling it the most beautiful object in the world. And so we created a few objects around the Lota and the Katori and so on. Then created a few products around India's dance and music traditions, like
Mhm.
miniature musical instruments, or the 8 dance forms, or the Navarasas.
Mm.
We taught the world how to categorize
Mm.
emotions,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So we did something around those stories, and even other stories around sacred geometry, or around the flag and constitution of India.
Right.
India's constitution, other than it being a legal document, it's a work of art,
Right.
because it's 2,800 pages, hand calligraphed, and with paintings done by Danlal Bose and his 40 students from Shanti Niketan. So we want to present that as well.
Mm.
And so that's how we created our first set of products, uh, narrating stories of Indic civilization and modern India. And that's when we then approached ISRO.
Mhm.
Then others approached us, like Indian Railways and so on. So that's how we built out our endeavor.
This started when? What is the
So
time?
we started in early 2020,
Okay.
uh, 3 months before COVID.
Okay.
And as soon as COVID hit, we just focused on creating products. For
Mm.
about 2 years, we are building out our products.
That would have been a good time for you to reflect and think on
Absolutely,
what
and it
products you can
helped
do.
us support our artisans in those difficult times as well.
Ah.
Artisans that we had been working with earlier as well. So that's what we did, and we built this out with investments from some passionate individuals who just wanted to support us.
Okay.
One of the tough things, growing up in middle class homes, is to ask for money,
Yes.
and doing all these ventures and projects. I'd learned to kind of ask persistently also sometimes.
That's how you got persistent.
That's how I got
I mean, the
Anand Deshpande's
Anand
family
Deshpande's
also.
family
Yeah,
foundation.
and people like Jerry Rao or Hari Vadlamani, founder of Indica, and a bunch of my friends, Atul, Shrikant, Nitin, Vineet, and a bunch of my classmates to support this endeavor. Um Most of them just said, "You're doing it, and it's required. Here's our support." So
I
that
can
kind of.
imagine the pitching for this might have been a very difficult thing because if you have a plain product solving a problem, the pitch is more or less, straightforward and you could make a pitch. But for this, you really need to bring out the patriot from the investor. So pitching might have been really difficult. Can you tell us something?
Uh, Actually, um, pitching for big money with a venture fund is very tough in this sector.
Yeah.
They don't see it becoming a unicorn, for example,
Correct.
and things like that. Angel investors are typically passionate investors,
Mm-hmm.
and if they connect with the founder and the founder's commitment, um, and overall, they think it's a problem to be solved, and especially in this space, which has some social relevance and so on. It was something that they supported, and kind of literally let us do what had to be done.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this connects the dots from the the artisans, your heart for art, and then you followed up saying why not build product, because they came and told you मुझे धंधा चाहिए,
Correct,
and you
correct, correct.
started looking at
Absolutely,
options how we
absolutely.
can create. That's fantastic. I mean, then again you brought the ideas and
Right, right. So
back to
to
the
to give you a couple of examples, how we could uh, help artisans create new products. The Chatpatna craft, a 300 year old craft that we had been working with earlier. Uh, when we when we took to them um, designs of building a rocket, like a replica of the PSLV, as a kind of a DIY kit for small kids, or a pencil box in the shape of a rocket, or an interpreted Vikram moon lander
mm-hmm.
with their craft. It got the next generation also interested,
Mm-hmm.
because there was something new
New,
that
yeah,
that was being
absolutely.
built. And similarly, we taught some of the artisans of Moradabad, who would typically make katoris and so on, to make the ISRO Vikram lander model, right? So that's how we were able to also introduce to them various technologies around prototyping. We would do the design, the 3D modeling, the kind of the 3D printing, and then help them take on manufacturing of some of those products beyond the prototype. Yeah.
Tell me something. How would you think about making this? Which artisan to go to for a particular idea? How did you
Right, right.
get
Yeah,
that?
this is actually a very interesting question, because choosing the right partners and with the passion and so on is very important. So one of the things that we had learned, during our Heart for Art trust, the work that we were doing through the trust, was we knew who were the master artisans, who were the kind of
Hmm.
mid-level type of
Right.
artisans, and who were the kind of junior type of artisans. That's number one. We knew their processes, and we also knew which of these artisans were kind of passionate, right?
Correct.
Wanted to do something new and so on. So we kind of chose those, and then the form and the size of the product
Absolutely.
would determine
That would determine.
which craft we
Yeah,
would
yeah,
work with.
yeah. And you would kind of run it in your mind and say that this particular craft, it may be difficult to create this product, whereas this it may be more
Absolutely.
easy. So,
So we
so
would decide, should it be a wood craft or a metal craft or even a grass craft that we should use to
correct,
render a particular product.
correct. So you have a team with you who does this kind of thinking about the whole design to manufacture.
Absolutely. So, we worked actually with interns and who became exceptional product designers. And given an idea, they would very quickly convert it into a 3D model and then a prototype and so on. So, we have a product design team, we have a
So
graphics
these
team.
interns have a particular experience. You look for specific.
We actually, I mean, they come with the technical knowledge to do product design,
Okay.
and our product ideas and what we want to take to market, then is rendered using their technical knowledge
Right.
into products that kind of make sense.
Right. And have you partnered with design schools here, like NID?
Yes, we have. We constantly work with interns from about 4 or 5 different design colleges in the country. We did some work and continue doing work with NID Ahmedabad um, and the Railway Design Center there. And my younger daughter happened to be studying there as well,
Okay.
and she's just about finishing her product design at NID Ahmedabad. So some of this has helped us kind of involve some of the best design ideas and the best design talent. We've also worked with accomplished designers like Yogesh Dandekar or Michael Foley to do some of our products. And that's how we kind of challenge some of the best design
Absolutely.
brains in the country to
Sure.
help us create new
Sure.
products.
And do you think you could take this partnership to a new level with taking the help in outreach as well? For example, NID might surely have ways to outreach and show some new craft or show some new. I mean, you're doing quite unique things and quite innovative things. So,
Right. So actually, some of the partnerships that we built was to one is to kind of access talent, like NID and so on. A lot of the other partnerships that we've done it with organizations. I call them institutions of eminence in the country
mm-hmm.
that people already have an emotive connect with.
Okay.
Whether it's a ISRO or Indian Railways or a Tata Group and so on, they have the content actually,
Right.
right? They
Absolutely.
have the story.
Absolutely.
Can we render them, in various ways?
That is like half done already. You already have the story. You don't have to build the story itself. So
Absolutely. So that's kind of what we did. A lot of our collections are based on the work of some of these institutions of eminence in the
fantastic.
country. And it also gets us kind of a ready audience
Yes.
to begin
Absolutely.
with, and which can
Absolutely.
then be made to
Because
scale.
these companies have the stories, they also know where these stories have to reach. So you just kind of make these ideas into fruition and go back to them
Absolutely.
and
And, if I take, NASA and ISRO as an example, ISRO has now been in the news and they're doing some wonderful work, and
yeah.
movies have now been made on their work and so on. NASA, for example, their merchandise business is in a couple of billions
Right.
every year. They, a lot of their merchandise, which is actually very simple merchandise,
Right.
like a T-shirt and a
T-shirt.
mug
Yeah, I've
and
been
so on,
there. Yeah.
and that's available in many countries around the world. And ISRO can get there, and that's what we are working on. We've created more than 120 products narrating their stories, whether it's scale models or jigsaw puzzles, DIY kits, mugs, T-shirts, and a whole museum. We call it the Indian Space ISRO Wall Museum for schools and so on. So we built that, and we are playing a role in outreach to India's citizens around India in space.
Fantastic. That's a great thing to do. So, bringing a new product or concept to life, especially one that involves collaborating with artisans across India, can be a complex and time consuming process. So, from the initial idea to prototyping and production takes a lot of time. So, at what point in your journey in Indic did you begin to seriously focus on sales and on selling? And what were the pivotal steps you took to scale your sales efforts and turn your vision into a growing business? Because so far it was like making the stories, connecting the artisans, manufacturing the products. Everything was a challenge at all times. Bringing a story to design is a challenge. Design to manufacture is a challenge, and which artisan to take is another kind of challenge. So when you cross all these, then the next big challenge is how do I run this as a business, as a profitable
Correct.
business.
So when we started Indic Inspiration, it was very clear that it has to be run, as a profitable business, as a private limited company. So we started with a clear focus on sales, even while we built out the first set of products. So we set up an online store, did a lot of IT integration, and campaigns like performance marketing. We work with a couple of ad agencies to help us do our campaigns. Um, um,
And these ads used to be in which platforms?
so the kind of digital media to
Right.
begin with. So we actually started Indic Inspirations to be a online store
Right.
only, but very quickly we realized that a lot of our products are touch and feel type of products. People don't believe
So you need
photographs.
really some kind of a museum or something to
We needed physical presence.
physical presence.
Yeah, so that's how we're now at airports. We are at Pune Airport and we are at Bangalore Airport, and we have an experience center in Pune and at South End Circle in Bangalore. We will be growing this because a lot of the work that we do are kind of souvenirs, merchandise, gifts which are related to travel or which are related to destinations, right? So you'll buy a souvenir of the Buddha when you are say visiting Sarnath or a Bodh
Correct.
Gaya, yeah.
Correct.
So similarly, you want to gift, a friend who does Bharatnatyam. You'd like to do it. When there's some kind of a dance performance or that person's birthday and so on, right? So we need to be there at the right destination at the right
Right.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. So you said that investors came to you and you were like able to pitch to them. So that part is very clear. And now you said how you improved your sales and your kind of doing the outreach. So what kind of short term goals do you have for Indic?
So we've got a bunch of emotive products, many of them very relevant to various types of professions as well as hobbies of India citizens or the Indian diaspora or Indophiles and so on. So we need to now distribute deep. We need to take them out into kind of phygital stores at more airports. Also,
You mean
run
not
the
only domestic but also
uh,
international?
want to do it first,
Mm-hmm.
kind of domestic, and then do some franchising
Mm-hmm.
to get franchises on board to open physical stores at tourist destinations.
Mm-hmm.
And we're working out a plan as to what we can do with the diaspora abroad,
Mm-hmm.
and also look at taking some um, kind of bulk products into let's say America
Mm.
or and so on. The world um uh, learnt yoga, enjoys doing yoga. We created World Yoga Day, but it's still done on Chinese stinky mats. So we're trying to see what we can do around that as well.
Okay, great. You were in this Swarajya Conclave 2047. Anything that you want to quickly
So,
say about the experience?
as all of us are aware, there's been a lot of thought that's been going into how India can create its, own identity, or how we can work on our strengths, go past our colonial hangover and all of
Right.
that. So, the Swarajya Conclave was kind of about that, how to work on our strengths, and whether it's yoga or Ayurveda or our aesthetic arts and crafts, and even the recent advances in defense and space.
Sure.
What is it that can be done to take that forward by the time India is 100 after independence? And one of those industries is shipping, and we actually launched the Indian Ocean collection there. We have created scale models of the stick ship,
Mm-hmm.
which is what India used to dominate the
Right.
Indian Ocean region by sailing all the way to Bali or the east coast of Africa, Egypt, and so on over millennia. The government now has plans and has funded large ports and the full shipbuilding industry, which had not been around for a long time, though we were master shipbuilders many centuries ago. So this conclave kind of deliberated on what can be done, and clearly it needs to be done through products.
Okay.
It needs to be done through commerce. It needs to be done through innovation and R&D. So we're playing some part in that.
Great, and that's a great platform to be. I mean, that will give you more outreach, and especially with more agencies you can partner with. So every successful entrepreneur often has a mentor who has guided them through challenging times. So can you share any story? Do you have any specific mentor, or you have had a few people
I
as advisors?
Absolutely. So throughout, right from school to college to while I worked in the tech companies, um, there have been several mentors. Like I mentioned, about the principal who started our school, to some of the interest in telecom actually came uh, when we decided to do a project in our last year of engineering around telecom because of what we had heard Sam Petroda was doing,
Wow,
building out CDOT and so on. And some of that continued after the technical things that I saw at CMC. Some of the best technical people in the country worked at CMC at that time. Then what I saw was being done to build out a HCL or Wipro or Infosys and so on. Like how Arjun Malhotra built out
right,
HCL, and what how Wipro got built out and so on. So and then what I saw Suresh Rajpal doing to create the startup. So that continues, and even in the space where we are working, I spend some amount of time with a lot of my investors. Like a
right.
Jerry Rao, who's guided us at Indic Inspirations. So sometimes I even learn from a new kid who's talking about a new thing. Yeah. So mentors absolutely have played a large role.
Okay, great. So, what is your message to budding startup founders and entrepreneurs? You have had an incredible journey. You've gone through successes, failures. You have almost equal share of both, and you are doing some great inspirational work for the country through Indic creation. So, what is your message for today's budding startup founders and entrepreneurs?
I think we live in a world that has information uh, available with the flick of a button or
Sure.
like a search string and so on.
That too curated information today.
Absolutely, yeah. So make use of that. Then creating and prototyping products has become very easy. You can do it in very short period of time. There is a bunch of mentors in the country, and there's infrastructure that's got built out. So
Absolutely.
go take the leap, try things out. Um, uh, if it succeeds, you'll build a unicorn. If it does kind of okay, you'll build out a venture that's created some value. And if it fails, you learn how to do it better
Learning.
the next time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So take the leap, and this is the time to do it.
Be persistent, and this will automatically convert to resilience over time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Great. Sunil, thank you so much for accepting my invitation to be a guest on this Sales Algorithm podcast. And your journey is truly very inspirational. And the insights you have shared in this conversation are really invaluable for or priceless for aspiring startup founders. Thank you to all our listeners for your time and attention, and stay tuned for more insightful episodes right here on the Sales Algorithm channel. Before we sign off, I would like to take a few minutes to talk about my upcoming book, The Sales Algorithm. So, this book is crafted for two core audiences. First, it's a guide for middle level sales managers who are feeling stuck in their careers and are looking for actionable ways to reinvent themselves. Second, it's a resource for early stage startup founders, many of whom become so immersed in building their solutions that they often overlook the critical importance of sales. The book is divided into two insightful sections. The first condenses over 3 decades of my hands on experience in B2B sales, offering practical framework and proven techniques for selling across international markets. The second section brings together wisdom from my podcast interviews, like the one I had with you, with successful founders and entrepreneurs like Sunil, who generously share their journeys, lessons learned, and innovative approaches to mastering sales and driving growth. So continue staying tuned and watch this space for more details. You can reach out to me on jrangan@gmail.com or jk@salesalgorithm.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I go by the name Rangan Jayakrishnan.
Thank you so much, Rangan, and all the best for this book. Much required. This is a space that entrepreneurs need help with, and creating sales organization is what builds organization.
Absolutely. Can't agree more. Thank you so much.